Hello there, and before I start this video, I'd just like to quickly make you aware that there are currently two gift with purchases on Lego.com and in Lego stores that are set to end with this week. That being the Pirate Island gift with purchase, which is currently available with any spend over £95, and this maze, which is also given out with purchases over £130. Both of these will be available until the 22nd, and if you've checked your rewards recently, you'll also notice that for 500 points, you can add the Winter Train, which was a promo last year. I believe it was given out with spends over £40 or £45, but for 500 points, this can be yours this year. Once again, today we are on a train because, well, actually before we head to the Lego store, we checked out the skyline from the World Playday, Escape Room, Superhero Academy, and it just looks that much more awesome. There's so many more plates that have been added since we were here last week, and you can see there's a whole section dedicated to flags. You've also got a mushroom from Mario, Minnie Mouse, there was a Mickey somewhere there, as well as all the others. And I like these hammers on the top left. You've got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shrek, and you even had the Creeper and Mario Brothers from last time. But we headed to the Thames, crossed the bridge, because we were staying in one of the fanciest hotels in London. I won't cover this too much. My fiance will have a video covering the whole hotel tour and what we got up to besides the Lego store soon. So I'll leave that linked in the description when it's uploaded for you to check out if that's something that interests you. But I will tell you, we were staying right underneath the Shard, and it did have a view that was just too good not to add to this video. Anyway, our first trip on that day, just after checking in, we headed to Battersea Power Station, which has now become a shopping mall, which is pretty high end, though of course they still have their own Lego store. And we checked out the Venator. It does look really cool, and they also had the Viking display, which I'm still not sure about, but here is the Pirate promo. You can see £95 or more. This is the one that was retiring on the 22nd. Their PAB wall wasn't too impressive, so I did end up just picking up two Marvel CMF minifigures and didn't spend the time to check who they were as we needed to get out, so it'd be interesting to see who I got. And they also had this brick built display of the actual Battersea Power Station, which looks really cool. It is a model of the power station that's been converted into the mall, so I guess there's probably some Lego store on the inside, but it is a really nice build. And they had so much Lego on display. It sort of had two floors. It weren't as big as Leicester, but it definitely had a whole bunch of Lego sets. But as I said, we only got the two Marvel CMF minifigures, and the Builder minifigure did look awesome, but we were soon waving goodbye and heading over to our next location. So the next day we visited Westfield. This is the one in Shepherd's Bush, not Stratford, so it can get a little confusing, but they did already have their Christmas tree up, which, let's have Halloween first. But we were here for the Lego store. Before we hit the Lego store, we head to Hamleys, and it weren't too impressive. Of course, everything's gonna be full price. I've never seen a Lego deal in this store. But in the Lego store, they did have this awesome display in the window. As you can see, they had one of the new cars. I believe it was the Ferrari. But they had three screens, one on the floor and two left and right, in this sort of box that made it look like the car was driving round a racetrack. They had a few different visuals on the back, which made it look like it was driving through the countryside or round a professional racetrack, and then would pit stop in a garage. And they even had some tunnels, but they also had the insect collection on display and Gringotts Bank. But the best display in the store was definitely this brick. As you go in, they decked it out with a bunch of Halloween stuff, and they did say the store wasn't getting too popular, so they did have a chance for every member of staff to add something to the display. You can see the Builder minifigure parts, load of parts off the PAB wall, and I particularly liked the use of the trans blue tiles in this flower pot, which made it look like it was filled with water, next to the jazz club, which again I've never seen in person. And they did have the Venator, this time out in the open, just like Leicester, though as it wasn't popular, it did give me some time to spend with the model, where I could look up close at the gunship, just the detail in the gun turrets and all the plates that are added to the top of the front. And they also had the Superstar Destroyer on display. Hopefully we get more this size next year. And I got to check out the Lego store, which though it's very different to my own, did look cool, as well as seeing Captain Rex for the first time. And of course we had Chewbacca. But I got here for the Pick a Brick Wall. There were a few pieces in particular I wanted to pick up, and I won't show them now because I did pick up all but one of them. They did have a great range of pieces, and of course I had to fill a cup. They had a few older pieces in the drawers, and on the way out I spotted this display. The display did look amazing. And of course it's time to look at what I picked up over my 2-day adventure, but before we get into that, we did pick up some magazines on the way back. Of course my fiance picked up the Minecraft one, and I picked up the Star Wars one. So taking a look at the Minecraft one first, it came with this spider jockey and web, which does look really cool. Not only do you get a spider, which I don't think is all too common in the Minecraft Lego sets, but you also get a spider which clips on the back there, as well as a nice little web piece, which personally is probably my favourite out of the three, because I've got so many of these white pieces with the round sort of jumper plates and didn't know what to do with them. I tried adding them to a few things recently, and it's enabled me to recreate the web, which will go very nicely in the Minecraft world, though that's not to take anything away from the spider. The use of the hinges on the legs is really cool, and this is our first spider, so it's nice to have a spider for the Minecraft world. And of course the Star Wars magazine is always going to be really cool. This time it didn't come with a minifigure, and in fact came with Vader's TIE Advance, though it does use the new curved and sort of rounded pieces on the back that you see in the 332nd Battle Pack and on Yoda's Starfighter. So I've actually got the model here built. I've already built it. It's quite a nice model. It's a very sizable model. You can see I do have quite big hands, so this model is very sizable. They all sort of have been recently. I do have the Y-Wing, the ATT, which I will show off in a future video. But if you did manage to pick up the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi X-Wing, which did not only come as a plain poly bag, I picked this up in Tesco for £3, which is quite a bit cheaper than the magazine at £5, but you could have also got it for free. It was probably for free at the start of the year. They also gave it out for free recently with the Venator or Star Wars Spends over £80 at the start of October. And I think these both go very well together. They're probably scaled not too far off with each other. And of course, with the X-Wing, you can open the S-foils into attack position. And it's just a great feature that they added that I don't think really they'd get on too much of a smaller ship. So I think this is a great scale for these magazines, especially if we've got something closer to this X-Wing. It'd be great to get something this size with this many pieces in the £5 magazine, and I think it would just make these builds more popular with other people, because you see a lot more magazines with these builds than you do the minifigures left after they come out. So I don't know if they stock more of the builds and they're just more popular, or more people are leaving them. Overall, I think this is a great build. You can see the newer pieces on the back there, which personally is why I picked this up, because I won't be picking up the next magazine, as it comes with Yoda's Starfighter. And if I hadn't said it was Yoda's Starfighter, you probably wouldn't have been able to tell. I mean, there's not many ships that look this size with this sort of colour scheme, but Yoda's Starfighter, let me grab the set, has 2 wings on either side. It is very rounded rather than this sort of rectangle shape, and I don't really know what the black bar on top's representing, but I assume it's some stickers that I didn't put with this set. I don't know, I can't see the similarities that much. I think they definitely could have added 2 wings instead of these black bars. I don't think the lasers are that much important, and they probably could have even added them between the 2 sets of wings. So let me know if you want to see me improve this model. Perhaps I'll try and add as few pieces as I can to turn it into Yoda Starfighter, but I just don't think this is worth the £5 or whatever the next magazine's going to cost, because there's no exclusive pieces. It's not like this month's Vader's Advance, which does come with a nice sloped pieces, which if you're not buying a load of the 332nd Battle Packs, which I still only have one so far, it's a nice way to pick them up for a lot cheaper than that £20. But I don't think next month's is too interesting, and it'll be interesting to see next month what our final one is, as I would love another minifigure, but do feel we're going to end the year with these builds. But before I move on, I will show you next month's Minecraft, which Not only comes with Alex, but a bee, a baby llama, some roses and some plants, a little bit of water. It's quite a good build. I mean, these are almost the $8.99 sets that we're getting. The smaller ones with the one character, the animal, maybe a smaller animal. And I really like this from Minecraft. This magazine was $5.50. The next one's going to be around that £5 mark. If we got something like this for Star Wars with a character, perhaps a droid, and a little stand for them to go on, they would be flying off the shelves. This is great from Minecraft, and if you do like Minecraft in any way, collect the Minecraft sets or that side of Lego, do pick up the magazines. It's very great value. You are basically getting a smaller plate of that £8 set for nearly half price, so you can't go wrong with it. And on the back of the magazines you also get a few cards which you can collect, which have a few stat points for some of the mobs. And actually, we're not done with magazines yet, because on the back cover of the Star Wars one, we got this neat little box. You can see Boba's on one side, Din's on the other side. And if I open it up, you can see I've got my spare pieces in there. You could have also glued it the other way round, Leia, Han and Luke, and you've also got Emperor Vader and a Stormtrooper. So it's quite nice, especially to have a sort of reversible box. We got one like this in a Marvel magazine not too long ago, but it's very cool to get something you can actually build from paper. And the poster in this month's issue is this dark side poster, which you might remember I did pull out a light side poster from a previous issue which missed Anakin. Well, Anakin is here as Vader on the dark side one, but I think the best poster is on the reverse, as we've also got an Anakin Snips poster. That does look really cool, especially with Ahsoka just finishing up, so perhaps you might want to display that. Now, that is truly done with the magazines, and before we get to the PAB Cup, which I know many of you are waiting for, we do have some minifigures I picked up. Now, I did just blindly pick them up. As I said, there weren't much time in the store, and I didn't want to spend most of it just fidgeting around finding out who I got, because it does take some time. But I did pick up a Wolverine and a Clint Hawkeye, which you can see from these torsos, and these are actually quite good, as I wanted to make a custom Clint, and also in my Wolverine mech, which I have modified very heavily, I do have the older version of Wolverine, which comes with a different shade of yellow. So I'm going to be stealing these arms, whacking them on Wolverine, and then perhaps using Wolverine's arms for Clint. And as you can see, Wolverine's arms not only improve this other minifigure, but also make him a little more accurate. You can see it's a slight different suit. You don't have the blue belt, blue boots, but the different yellow just makes the legs stand out way too much. I did try them on, but the arms do make him look really cool, especially where I've upgraded the mech to show that new arm and glove with the skin in the middle. So it does look really cool. And if you haven't seen, I did get another one of Wolverine's claws, so he doesn't have the little stump now, but overall it does look really cool. And for Hawkeye, I've just taken them clear arms off Wolverine and put them onto Clint so that it looks a bit younger. You can see with one of his faces, he does have that sort of younger expression than the battered up other side, and his hair ain't too far off. So I know his suit did have, I think, a bit of dark red rather than the purple we see in the comics, but this I think looks close enough, and all I've done is taken off the purple arms and given him some clear ones. So if you wanted a younger Hawkeye, be sure just to do this. I've made so many customs with this Marvel CMF video. Perhaps I'll do a video dedicated to all the different customs you can make, but you've seen Wolverine's arms on the old Wolverine, Clint with clear arms. I've turned Moon Knight into Ahsoka. That video is up. I'm also about to use the Agatha minifigure to make someone else in a video hopefully coming up very soon. So the Marvel CMFs are really cool, and if you did want to pick them up randomly, you can make so many other minifigures than the pieces that come in the box. But of course, that leaves us with sort of the golden idol of this episode. You can see just how many pieces I've packed into this cup. One piece wasn't available. Out of all the ones that I wanted to pick up, there was one piece I couldn't get, and it was the 8x8s I need for my city. I'm going to have a double take at my collection, look through my big parts bin, and see if I have any of them, because I'm pretty sure I've got some laying around. I just don't remember which colours they all are, so I'll take a look and perhaps whack that in the next city update if I have any. If not, I'll either hold off until Christmas time, see what other pieces are added, because we've seen a lot of classic space pieces added of recent. And if I need to, I can always order them off Bricklink. But I'll first crack this open and take a look at just some of the pieces that I picked up. And I don't think I'll be counting them up today, just because time isn't on my side like it is usually, and I'm quite limited to get this video out for today. This is the morning of the video I'm recording, which doesn't happen too often, but you can see I picked up 2 of these slides. Now, when the new PAB boxes come in, these sort of pieces are just going to be impossible to pack. Not only will they not fit in the boxes, I mean, you might be able to fit one across the diagonal, but they're going to take up most of the space. So I definitely wanted to pick up 2 of these now. I think I'll probably add these. I don't really know. I was thinking about where I could add these into the city, perhaps in a room or something. They'll take up most of the space, but they're just a nice piece to have in my collection. Perhaps if I ever do some sort of amusement park, at least I've got a slide. And they do fit up quite nicely with each other, nice and smooth, so it'll be interesting to see where I eventually use these. But I think the most pieces I picked up today were of this leaf piece, which is because I picked up a few of these smaller leaf pieces, which I guess they're bigger than this one, but they're the smaller of the 2 big ones. And this is what I use to make my bushes. I just add sort of a leaf piece here and a leaf piece on the other side, and then stack another one on top. Perhaps this time we'll flip it and it will go the other way. And if you keep stacking these, they make lovely bushes. You can even add them so that they connect up, make an even larger bush, like so, and just keep adding these along, and that will bush up your city quite nicely. And it only uses these 2 pieces stacked. You can probably even add some green studs in there to thin it out, but they are 2 of the pieces. I also picked up this piece. They only had 8 of them. This was in their drawer of pieces that were sort of going out of stock, and they do look really nice. I'm not quite sure where I'll use them, but they could definitely be some sort of balcony piece. I am trying to build a balcony for my Lego museum, so these could look quite nicely. You'll have to wait and see if I end up using them. I also grabbed a few of these littler pieces, a few tubes. A lot of these, as if you pull them off, they're great for greebling, and even with the antenna on them, they're great for greebling. And I've also got some taps for the same reason. You can never have enough of them. I did go through their mixed bin of just a few random parts they had on display and that. They had the odd masonry bricks, so of course I picked them up. It's one of the reasons I'm probably not going to be totaling this up and finding out how much it is, because I've just got so many pieces that I've got like 1 or 2 of. And they had a few older pieces. These weren't on the wall, but they had a few of them. They also had a few of these. What other older pieces? I think these were gone. These pieces were on the wall. I picked up a few similar coloured pieces a while back. Still haven't used them, but I thought if I am going to use them, I best have some pieces to go with them. So I did grab some of them. A few of these. I think the seats weren't on the wall. These weren't on the wall. I picked up a few of them. And they also had a few of the frosted saber bars, which are quite old from the PAB Wall. I didn't get to see them because they went so fast. But I did also pick up some glass for the city. I think these were the less common pieces. And then, of course, I picked up 2 trees. They had a few 1x2s, so I grabbed a small handful of them because it's a colour that I don't think I really have. And I also picked up a bunch of these tiles. I did order a bunch of 1x6 tiles when I was doing my dioramas, so I thought I'll have the 2x2s to go with them. And I picked up these candle pieces. I picked up like 100 and something flames in the last PAB cup, so I've got the candles to go with them. And these also go great with the candelabras, so keep an eye out when I'll be putting them together. They're all currently in a tote bag, so I'll have to sort all of these when I get back, but that'll be really fun. And I also picked up these 2x2s in white because I've been building a few mocks recently. So many of them use these white 2x2s, and I didn't realise how few I had in my collection. But most recently, I built Grogu this sort of buggy, which looks pretty cool, except for the tan 2x2 plates I've used because I'm out of white 2x2, so it was great that I managed to see these. I only picked up a handful, probably 10 or 15 or so. So hopefully I don't need them too much and can start using other pieces because I have a whole drawer full of grey 2x2s, but I just tend not to use the grey pieces as much, which when you're an avid fan of Star Wars and collect a load of the Lego Star Wars sets, you'd end up to have a load of grey pieces. So perhaps I should try and use them a bit more, perhaps make a few more Star Wars mocks, because I know I'm really enjoying that, and by the looks of the videos you're all really enjoying that too. So I'll have a look what other ships I can make from Star Wars, and I definitely want to at some point make an invisible hand or some sort of ship to go with my Venator, as it would be cool to have them displayed either side of the shelf. But as you can see, the white 2x2 plates just make it look a bit better, and that is Grogu's buggy complete. So I think this PAB Cup was another success. I think there's a few pieces I haven't shown you. You can see there's a bracket and these sort of snot sort of bracket pieces, but I have shown off the most of it. I also got these pieces. If you can see another piece, of course it means I picked that up. You see a few odd pieces, a few more masonry bricks, and I did actually manage to get one of these clear pieces. Of course, it would have been nice to have picked up the 8x8 pieces with the gaps in between them, but I'll put a picture up on screen now of the piece I'm talking about if you haven't known. But of course, they just didn't have them in stock. They were very popular. I mean, PAB Crawler put out a video and they were pretty much already gone by that time. So I have to keep my eye out in the future, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to be sorting these PAB pieces and getting them to use around the city. And I hope you enjoyed my journey around London. I have now visited every single London Lego store, and I also have the stamps to prove it. I think I should have left the Blue Water for the other side, because you've sort of got Westfield, Leicester Square and Battersea all on the one page, and then you've got to flip it to see the London Westfield sign. But I have visited all of the London stores and Blue Water. Hopefully next year I can fill this passport out a bit more with other stores around the country, so we'll have to do a bit of travelling. But do like this video if you do indeed like the video, and subscribe so you don't miss out on more journeys. Though I've visited every London store, I can't promise this is the last PAB Cup of the year, and it really just depends on what pieces they get, especially if some stores see a return of the 8x8. But that is all from me and today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and may the bricks be with you always.